Today it is my pleasure to sign into law Senate File 2339. When I delivered the condition of the state address in January, I called on the legislature to pass legislation to provide tax incentive to repurpose abandoned public buildings. As the Lieutenant Governor and I visit all 99 counties every year, we've continuously heard constituents talk about communities that are struggling to try to repurpose former school buildings and other public buildings, but especially school buildings. Instead of letting these treasures stand empty, this legislation will help us to turn many of them into centers of commerce, just as the Grubs have done here. This is a interesting and very successful business that has very effectively repurposed the school building.
One of the most important things you can do for economic development is find ways to stimulate growth within your city that already exists. And repurposing buildings, particularly abandoned buildings, does a lot for the neighborhoods, for the community, for the state.
I think it is a really exciting bill. You know, part of the deal when you look at a building like this is there's a purchase price, but the reality is there's a retrofit cost. And I think that the tax incentives can make it possible for someone to look at a building like this and say, okay, I can afford to build it and repurpose it. And that's really key. I think you can really see the difference in the health of a neighborhood when a school has closed and not been used for anything but just becomes abandoned, as opposed to a neighborhood where a school was closed but then has been repurposed into some private activity. And you know, an empty building attracts vandals. It just has this sense of decay in a neighborhood, and it's really detrimental for safety reasons, for economic development reasons, for the value of your property. So it's really important that we encourage people to reinvest in those things.